All right, here we go live. We're going to start in about a few minutes. Let me see what time is it right now. It's about 7:26. Going to wait about 4 minutes. If you're watching this live, man, hit me up on the chat. I'll be able to see that. And like I said, we'll start in about 4 minutes. Just thought I'd jump in live and get in here a little bit early. So, how's everything going? How was 4th of July weekend? Hopefully, it was great. Mine was relaxing, actually. So, what I did was actually build a croquette set or the croquet set for my granddaughter. I do a lot of woodworking for those of you who don't know. So that was kind of cool to spend the weekend doing that. So again, I'll wait for folks to jump on. I know it's early. There's a reason for it. I'm going to try to do this every Monday morning, and we'll see how that goes. And so again, we'll wait a couple more minutes. And what I'm going to do right now is give me something to drink. I'll be right back. Don't move. All right, back. By the way, if you're watching this, tell me where you're from, where you're living at. We're in Georgia right now, and it has been hot in Georgia. So, if you don't have a pool, go find one because it's pretty hot. All right, got a couple of more minutes before we jump into the subject of the day. And again, let me know where you're from. Hit me up on the chat. I can see the chat here. Let me see. There you go. All right. And we'll start in a couple of minutes. I'm super excited about this topic, by the way. I think it's a different way of thinking. So other than that, if you haven't checked out my book, The Future of Selling, check it out. You're starting to hear more and more about AI agents, which I think is pretty interesting, and agentic workflows. So if you want a primer on AI agent and how it's going to affect selling, that would be the book. I just launched it 2 months ago. And so it's been really interesting because just in the 2 months, everything's been changing in terms of sales. The advancements in AI over the last, month or so has been just tremendous, especially on the video side and the application side, which we're not going to talk about today. So, all right, I'm going to launch into this. Welcome to this broadcast. This is going to be something I'm going to try to do every Monday. It's called my Monday Morning Sales Workout. I actually have a program called the Monday Morning Sales Workout, and this is really for managers who are looking to, let's say, do something with their sales team and says, what do I do, Victor? What can I work with them on every week? So you don't have to think about it. I created this program. Let me go split screen here. And in this program, what I want to do is, let me see if I can get this go live here. There I am. Let me see if I can get my head to be a little bigger than that. Hold on a second. Let me see. We're playing with this for the first time. I'm actually just experimenting. Let's see if that works out. Oh, that's much better. All right. So this is the Monday Morning Sales Workout. And again, what it is that every week, I give you an exercise as a manager that you can do with your sales team to improve performance. And I always said that, if we're improving it every day, or at least every week, by the end of the year, we'll be that much better. So today's topic is going to be about behavioral goal versus general goals. And if you go to the link, victorantonio.com, Monday Morning Sales Workout, the acronym MMSW, you'll be able to download this worksheet, which I'm going to actually go through in just a bit. So let's go through the presentation. Let's go through what I want to talk about today. So by the way, there is a link right there. I got ahead of myself. So again, you'll be able to download the video and the actual worksheet. And again, what you're going to do as a manager is use this to kind of work with your team on Monday morning. Could be any day of the week, obviously. But, like that, you don't have to think about what do I work on today. So today's topic is, again, general goals versus behavioral goals. I want to share some interesting data with you. So they did the study, and there's an interesting study about high achievers and low achievers. And look at what they found. 89% of high achievers had general goals. And we'll talk about what those are specifically, compared to 86% for low achievers. Now, if you think about it, a 3% difference isn't a statistical significant difference. And so it's kind of the same. But then something changed. When they went from general goals to behavioral goals, look at the difference. High achievers had 89% behavioral goals versus the 33% who didn't. Said another way, people who were high achievers 55% more of the time had behavioral goals, things that they actually worked on. So let's go through what these are. And again, I'll talk, as a manager, I'll show you how this applies to you and the exercise you can do. So let's talk about what general goals are. You focus on you or your company, and they're very high level. For example, you'll say something like this. What we want to do is this year is we want to grow our revenue by 25%. Again, a very general goal. Or maybe we'll want to increase our close rate from, let's say, 40% to 45%, or increase the number of leads we get per month by, I don't know, from 50 to maybe 75, qualified leads per month, or maybe increase our average deal size. In other words, let's work on upselling and cross-selling. So we go from a $50,000 average deal size to maybe a $75,000 average deal size. These are great goals, but they're very general. And now let's go to what we mean by behavioral goals. And behavioral goals are very specific. In other words, it's almost like zooming in. So for example, instead of just saying, I just want to meet with clients so many times a week, you say, no, I want to meet with clients at least twice a week. It could be existing clients. Maybe you say, every day I'm going to do 10 follow-ups per day. That's very specific. It's, again, being very specific. How about 20 cold emails per day as part of my cadence? Or maybe if I'm doing presentations, I make it a behavioral goal that within the first 15 minutes after doing a quick discovery, I jump into the presentation / demo part of the presentation. So again, these are very specific things you're going to do. Think of general goals as the what. Okay, here's what we'd like to achieve. But then you need to get into the how you're going to achieve it on a daily basis. And from a management standpoint, I think this is important because too often we're speaking about the what we want our salespeople to do, but we don't get into the specifics of how they should be able to do it. So in this worksheet, what I've done is, by the way, let me give you this last step before I show you the worksheet. So for example, if your goal is to increase the number of prospects you meet with from 5 to 10 per week, what needs to change? You can ask your sales team, what needs to change to make that happen? In this case, they could say, we're going to increase the number of daily calls from 3 to 5, or 10 to 15, 20 to 30, whatever it may be. We're going to ask existing clients for referrals. Now, even on that one, I would say, well, how many clients are you going to call? Existing clients are you going to call per day or per week to ask for referrals? Again, the more specific you can get, the more measurable it becomes. I want to send out a bi-monthly newsletter. Again, perfect. So what can you do? And these are mechanical things that they can do. Almost again, it's just a cadence, things they can do every day. Now, in this worksheet, what I have for you is I often describe a situation. I know you can't read this, by the way. It's not important. You have a situation. So what I do is I first set up a situation for the exercise, right? And then I talk about the actual exercise you're going to go through. So in this case, here's the exercise I would like for you to do with your sales team. Once you've explained all this, here's what I would like you to do. Ask each salesperson in the room, right? Yeah, it's Monday morning. We're getting our coffee. Here's what you do. Write down 3 goals. Again, ask them to write 3 general goals for the week. And then once they write down the 3 goals, step number 2 is I want you to have them select one general goal. Okay, just have them pick one general goal, or you can help them pick one. Pick a general goal and then ask them to write, okay, be specific now. Go from that's the what. Here's what I want to do. That's the goal. Then say, be very specific in terms of how are you going to achieve that goal? And what behavioral activities will they have to do? In other words, what activities every day do they have to do to be able to hit that general goal? So again, I have some additional like instructor or leader guide notes for you if you're a manager. So again, check this out. There's the website, victorantonio.com/Monday Morning Sales Workout, the acronym MMSW. Enter your email, download, you'll get the worksheet, and you'll also get a 3-minute video, 2 to 3 minutes, 2-3 minute video on what this exercise is and how you can execute it with your team. I also include in the video a lot of notes for you, a lot of comments, like maybe ways of doing the exercise, things you should say if you don't know what to say, and maybe how you should present the exercise. So again, you'll get 2 things. The downloadable sheet that has all the instruction, again, has the situation, again, the example, the actual exercise you want to do with your actual work team. On the second page, you'll have some leader guide notes that I've put in there to help you make this a great exercise. And on that note, I think I'm done. I just wanted to kind of walk through this with you. Hopefully that was informative and instructive. Let me see. I got one comment here, so I'll show this one here, see if I can get it on the screen. Let me see. From beautiful Peachtree of Georgia, Lawrenceville, to be precise. Love it, man. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to end the stream here. Hopefully, again, I'll try to do this every Monday. I'm only going to spend, again, 5, 10, 15 minutes on this, but download the worksheets. Again, it's free. Download the worksheets. You also get the video as well. And looking forward to seeing you on the next stream. Take care.